Hello everyone, welcome to GenX Parenting. Temper tantrum is a very common challenge faced by new age parents. And many times it is observed that parents who handle the tough corporate issues like a pro, who handle the household chores very, very smoothly, they literally fail in front of the little child. Some of them try to scold the child. Some of them prefer to be silent. Some of them really spank. And weirdly, some of them find it very amusing also. The way you handle temper tantrum creates a great impact on the way the child is developing his or her emotional intelligence. And hence, it's an important skill that each and every parent must learn. To help us with the right information, we have with us pediatrician and a national level EQ trainer, Dr. Nita Jagad. We have done many sessions with Dr. Nita Jagad. The recent one is Biggest Parenting Mistake. The link is flashing right now, so do check it out as well. And now, without making any more delay, let's get on with the session. Welcome to GenX Parenting, ma'am.
Thank you, Leena. And it's always a pleasure to be here on this platform.
So, ma'am, as I said earlier, that we all have witnessed temper tantrum with our children at different level of severity. So, I would first like to start with understanding that what exactly leads to this kind of a tantrum, and is there any particular reason because of which the severity and the frequency of such tantrums has increased recently?
This is a very important question, Leena. Now, let us understand the causes of temper tantrums before going on to the solutions, how to manage them. Okay. This generation children, as we all know, they are growing up in a very different environment than what we have grown up. And therefore, there are multiple causes why temper tantrums are on the rise. The first and foremost is media, screen, and mobiles. Children keep on watching cartoons, they play video games, and these are all very fast moving screens. This fast moving screen stimulates their brain. And whenever the screen stops or whenever they stop watching videos or cartoons, what happens is brain is still stimulated. And this stimulated brain is prone to anger and frustration. Secondly, they keep watching uncensored programs, which have a lot of violence, anger, which is depicted in them, and children learn continuously through all the inputs which they get. They don't have any time spent with family, outside, and with their friends. They don't have time to go into the nature. That's why their emotions are not vented out or expressed. And that's why anger, frustrations, and such negative emotions keep piling up. The second thing is overattended children. Now, today's children are absolutely overattended by all the family members. They are provided and given everything they ask for. And say all materials they ask toys, they ask games, they ask everything, and they are given. There is no regulation, there is no limitations. These children, parents don't want to let them cry, and that's why they keep on giving everything. There are multiple caregivers which keep changing in the house, and even in the house there are multiple caregivers, and all of them have different ways of handling children's emotions. And children, because of this, because they are given everything immediately, they don't learn to wait. And the important EQ skill, we call it as delayed gratification. This is what they don't learn. And if in case they don't get what they want, they don't get attention, they don't get importance, they feel angry, frustrated, sad, and disappointed. Third thing, these children are pushed into competitions by overambitious parents without even knowing what is the capability of my child. These children go for multiple classes and tuitions, which will improve their IQ skills. But life skills they don't have time to learn life skills because these children are absolutely busy throughout the day with learning IQ skills. They don't have time to spend to learn life skills. And just because of that, they don't learn how to handle their own emotions because they don't have time to address their own emotions. And that is why strong emotions keep piling up. Fourthly, angry, frustrated, busy, and immature parents. Today's parents are facing a lot of issues and pressure at work, in the family also. And they are absolutely immature emotionally to handle these pressures. So what parents do is, parents, when they go through any emotionally charged situations, they give in to the situations. They throw tantrums. They are very frustrated emotionally. And children keep watching parents and they learn from their parents. Sixth thing, that is traditional values. Now, the values which were taught through the stories from scriptures, which indirectly taught us emotional regulation, honesty, empathy, and respect. We are missing out on these values. Lastly, we live in nuclear families. So parents are working, children grow up with nannies. Now, these nannies are definitely not equipped to handle the emotionally charged situations, and they are not equipped to regulate children's emotions. They are allowed a lot of screen time by nannies because they just want the children to stay quiet. Then these children are also given what they want. There is no regulation, there is no limitations. And lastly, we miss out on grandparents' wisdom. All these things. Now, children don't learn to regulate strong emotions because of these things also. And these are major reasons for temper tantrums to be on rise.
Very well said, ma'am. So then what is the right way to handle the temper tantrum if it occurs?
So Leena, we must understand here that the basic emotion underlying the tantrum is intense anger, frustration, disappointment, and sadness, which is unregulated. Over and above this unregulated emotions, these temper tantrums are mishandled by parents. Most of the parents don't know how to handle them, and they handle them by spanking, shouting, and sometimes giving in to their situations. Yeah. So let us learn how to handle temper tantrums by example. Suppose you are in a mall shopping with your child, and suddenly your child sits down on the floor, starts crying very loudly because you didn't buy him or her that expensive toy which she or he is asking for. So how do you feel about it? Angry?
Yeah.
Embarrassed?
Yes.
Right?
And helpless sometimes.
Generally, we get on to the traditional way. Spanking, shouting, sometimes just giving in. Chhod de, jaane do, de do. And we give in to their demands. Now, what are the emotions after you have given in to the tantrum? Parents, helpless, powerless, child, victorious, powerful. And the tantrums keep on repeating. Now, let us learn how to handle these tantrums in a way that it is a win-win situations for both parent and child. There are steps you would learn to handle these temper tantrums. Okay? First step is recognize your own feelings. You may be angry, frustrated, you may be helpless, you may be powerless, You may be embarrassed because there are so many people watching. Accept this feeling. It's okay to feel that way. Take deep breaths. Stay calm. And be assertive and empathetic with child's feelings and not behavior. Step 2 is recognize and understand child's feelings. What are child's feelings? Anger, frustration, disappointment. Sometimes they are sad. Then step number 3, acknowledge child's feeling and help the child to label his feeling by naming the feeling. And generally the intensity of the feelings will start coming down. So how do you accept and name child's feelings? In what are the sentences you can speak? I know you are too disappointed because you didn't get that toy which you so much wanted. You so much want that toy, right? It can be really very frustrating when you don't get a toy which you so much wish for. Step 3 is accept and acknowledge child's feelings. Help the child label his feelings. Now, how can you say this in words? I know you are too disappointed and sad because you so much want that toy and you are not getting it. Another way you can say is, I really observe that you so much want that toy. Or another way to say it is, it can be really frustrating when you don't get that toy which you really, really wish for. But avoid insulting the child. Avoid dismissing child's feelings and emotions. Like, don't cry. I don't like you crying. Get up. Don't order. Okay. What is there to cry? Okay. You're a bad child. I don't like you. Avoid saying these things. Now, fourth thing is try any of the following. One or more things. So, number 1 is give information. So, how do you give information? When you sit on the floor, your clothes can get dirty. Second point is you say it with a word. Standing on feet. Get up. Or you can just make some gesture. Get up, get up. Come on, come on, come on. Get up, get up. Yeah. Then in a very empathetic way, describe what you see. Oh, someone wants a toy so badly. Or you can say, I see that you want that toy so badly and you are not getting it, and that makes you sit on the floor. Oh my. So if one of these doesn't work, you can say, describe how you feel. How do you say that? See, now I'm getting angry. Or I'm too upset and embarrassed. You're going to say this without blaming the child. Another thing you can do is put the child in charge and give him a choice. Are you getting up or should I pick you up? Should we go home first and discuss about it at home? Most of the times, these words will help and work. But a few times it may not work. The reasons for this strategy is not working would be probably child is having intense emotions. So in that case, give little more time to the child. Okay. Talk about that emotion in more details. You explore that emotion in more details. How can you do that? Oh, I think you are very, 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 very angry. You can just add a little humor to it. Or you can say, when I was a child and I don't get my toy, it was very frustrating and I would get angry, but we were not allowed to sit down on the floor, huh? Or you can add some humor to it. Don't make humor or fun of the child, but you can add some humor by, you know what, when the Donald Duck is angry, he'll say, you know that. Another reason for strategies not working is child's basic needs are unmet. Like maybe child is hungry, maybe child is thirsty, he's tired, he's sleepy. So you offer some food, you can offer some water, offer him if he wants to sleep, and we can discuss this later on. But at any cost, avoid blaming and insulting the child. If you are short of time, see, every time we as parents may not have a lot of time to do all this emotion coaching. Okay, so sometimes we are in a hurry. So what you can do, and you want the action to be taken now and you don't have much time. So how you will say is, I'm going to pick you up. We go home just now. Express your feeling strongly. How would you express? I don't like to see anyone sitting on the floor. Last step is, as a parent, whenever this intense emotions subside, sit down with the child with some time and try and problem solve. Try to explain the child why you are not able to buy that toy for the child, or why you don't want to buy that toy. Explain the child that behavior, how that behavior is not accepted. And every action should be done without insulting the child. And suppose if the child realizes his or her mistake, you help the child make amends.
That was a really interesting exercise because you explained with all the examples. So, how these ways or the innovative approach of handling tantrum is better than the traditional approach, and how is it better than giving into the tantrums or the timeout technique, which was very well discussed at one point of time?
So, through this method, we are teaching the child to accept all emotions. Secondly, we are also teaching the child to regulate their own strong negative emotions. And when we do this repeatedly, it becomes a pattern and a habit is formed. And this method is called emotion coaching method. Now, there is plenty of research available and going on all over the globe about how this method is more effective. So children who grow up with emotion coaching parents are very confident. They are very passionate about whatever they do. They are independent. They are less lonely, less anger prone, less frustrated. They have less psychological problems. They have better relationships, better friendships, and they are less lonely. They are more successful professionally, and they make better leaders, motivated themselves, and they motivate others also. Whereas if you give in to the tantrums, what happens? A child does not learn how to handle and regulate their emotions. They become more angry, anger prone, frustrated, dysregulated, impatient, and selfish. So if you see parents who use timeout technique or punishment, here it may work temporarily, but the major and strong emotions are not addressed in this technique. the solution is forced upon the child, that they have to do this. They are not given choices. So they feel powerless, they feel angry, they feel helpless.
Okay, so coming to our last question, that we all are from the generation wherein spanking was very, very common. But nowadays, I hear a lot of protest against this spanking method. What is your opinion about it?
Leena, again, there is so much research which is going on about the types of parenting and its effect on children. Now, we have seen that those parents who use shouting, spanking, reprimanding, and punishment as a method to discipline their child, they are actually dismissing, disapproving, or disregarding child's emotions. Their emotions are piling up silently in their system, and it can have negative effects on their physical as well as emotional health. As they grow, these children will be less confident. They are prone to depression, prone to suicides. They have lots of self-doubts. They are poor in their school performance. Professionally, they become failure. They cannot make good friends. So they are lonely. They have very poor relationships with people. They sometimes learn to lie and manipulate. These children are very, very prone to drug abuse and falling into antisocial activities. My message to you today is, let us learn and practice the right way to handle our own emotions, our children's intense emotions, the emotion coaching way.
Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful and insightful session on how to handle tantrums. Ultimately, I would like to tell parents that it's all about being consistent and being patient with our children. It may not happen that you use one technique and it works immediately. You'll have to keep on changing. You have to keep on working on your techniques. And for that, you have to manage your own emotions and your kids' emotions. I hope this video helps you all to manage the temper tantrums very well in the future. If you like this video, do share your response in the comment section. And for more such informative videos, don't forget to subscribe GenX Parenting. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.